Obi, and I'm here to present the topic of what we learned today in class uh, last week. Basically, what we learned is strategic management and the definition of strategic management. So I'm here to discuss what my understanding of what we learned in class in terms of what strategic management is and the definition of strategic management. So what is strategy? Strategies can be defined as steps arranged in sequence to achieve a goal. So these steps are deployed in achieving the goal. Moving forward, strategic management can be defined as the science or the technology behind planning, executing, evaluating that strategy needed in achieving the goal. For example, I as a drilling engineer, I would have to define what my strategy is in terms of collection of data, how the data needs to be collected, how they will be interpreted, and how I'll present them to the client and also to my employees. So now the strategy will be to collect these data from each department in real time, both monitoring what is going on their side and what is going on my side, and transmitting this data to the home base with the steps I have devised in terms of the planning, executing, and evaluating this strategy. Now, in summary, the key strategy management concept or framework I learned in class were SWOTs, which entails the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, the threats. I need to evaluate this thing. The Potter's Five, which includes the competitive rivalries, suppliers' power, buyers' power, threat from substitution in terms of what other vendors have to offer or what other goods are there that are subject to what I am offering, threats from new entry, what I will need to do to mitigate against the threat of potential new entry by increasing my own output efficiency in terms of data collection, data interpretation, and data rendering. I also learned value chain analysis, which entails identifying of the value creating activities, core competencies, my core competencies, and the core competencies of my team that I'll be working with or have worked with, and also strategic fit, which entails aligning internal capability with external environment. Simple. That is what my team has to offer against what data or how we're going to collect data with other teams, like liaising with other teams, leveraging on our strengths. Now, what is the concept of strategic management and how it will apply to my career? So now what I learned in class will apply to my career as a drilling data engineer by one, the SWOT. I'll be able to identify the strengths and the weaknesses of my data collection and identify more efficient and effective ways of collecting this data, interpreting the data, rendering this data, and presenting the data, and also identifying gaps as in skill gap in me and my potential team. Second one is identify, which is not really relevant to a drilling data engineer, the five forces, but yes, I will need to also identify the supplier's power in terms of what the client needs, in terms of the data, how data will be presented for the client and my company to be able to make informed decision in terms of would someone else be employed or what tools are there in terms of competing tools that will prove a threat to my employment or prove a threat to what I will present. Thirdly, leveraging on the core competencies of myself and my team in terms of streamlining real-time data interpretation, value chain thinking that will improve collaboration between field operation and the office in terms of what I'm sending back to the office in real time, how this data is analyzed, and how it will be beneficial to those in the office in terms of taking real-time informed decision, strategic fit guided tools, selection aligning with both field needs and corporate goals. Now, let's see, assessing the impact of strategic management concept on my understanding of strategic decision making and how they will challenge or reinforce my previous concept. The first one will to reinforce the importance of aligning technical solution with business goals. Second will be to challenge me as a drilling data engineer to consider a broader industry forces beyond just data analysis in terms of mod logging, in terms of becoming a drilling engineer. Another one is to enhance my awareness of the value creation through effective workflow. How can I make the workflow in terms of data collection more effective? How can I make the interpretation of data more presentable? How can I make the data more presentable so that my clients can take real-time decisions without any delay? Encouraging proactive thinking about competitive position. What can I do to make the data I present to my client more effective than what another person would have to offer? Strengthening my confidence in making data-driven strategic recommendations for my client, for them to be able to make decisions. Now, let's move on to identifying how I will be able to apply this concept in my future endeavors and what specific actions or strategies I will use going forward. The first one is I will conduct regular SWOT reviews on all operations I work on. I will deploy or use the 5 forces to evaluate technical adoption risks. I would align data tools, relevant data tools with value chain needs. I will develop team skills or my skills around core competencies that is required by the client. I would also look for integrating strategies to fit into what the client wants and make technical decisions. In conclusion, strategy concept involves enhancing decision making. So I need to be able to, what I've learned is that from the first class is that I should be able to enhance my decision making, align tools, skills, and goals to drive success to achieve a particular goal. Ongoing analysis in terms of when I'm on the field in future to ensure adaptability and sustenance performance. Thank you.